Welcome to the Allied Health Professionals podcast series
with your hosts, Jennifer Trafford
and Alison Kerr.
Hello and welcome to episode 1 of the Allied Health Professionals podcast series. And before we get started, I think we need to introduce ourselves.
Hi everyone, and thank you for tuning in. I'm Alison Kerr and I am the Allied Health Professional Workforce Lead here at South Tees. I'm also a therapeutic radiographer, and that makes me an allied health professional.
And I'm Jennifer Trafford. I'm currently the practice placement facilitator for allied health professional students. However, today's my last day in that role, and on Monday I start my new job as a civility and human factors educator. So hopefully we can bring a bit of that to the podcast as well. But my background is I'm an operating department practitioner, which makes me an allied health professional.
Well, good luck in your new role, and it would be nice to bring some civility to this podcast. So doing a podcast is a new venture for us, isn't it, Jen?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a bit scary, but we're trying to push ourselves out of our comfort zone because we think it's going to be a really good way to encourage people to learn a bit more about who allied health professionals are, what type of professions fall under the allied health professional umbrella, promote career pathways, and show people that there is lots more professions that they can choose from when they're looking at job opportunities within the NHS.
Yeah, allied health professionals are the third largest workforce in the NHS, so we're pretty much a big deal.
Absolutely.
Our AHPs were all registered with the Healthcare Professions Council, and we are autonomous practitioners who assess, diagnose, treat and discharge patients in their own right. And we work across health and social care with adult and children.
Yeah, and I think you once said to me, there's not a patient that comes through our doors that probably doesn't meet an allied health professional at some point and doesn't even realise it. So I think that's the big point of this podcast, isn't it? For us to get people to understand who we are and what we do.
Yeah, every day in my role as the Allied Health Professional Workforce Lead, people will ask me, what does AHP stand for? What is an allied health professional? So we're hoping this podcast really raises the profile and makes us a bit more visible, even though we're on a podcast.
So what we'd like to do is we'd like to have a podcast where we can invite other allied health professionals in to have a chat with us and talk to them about their professions and what their professions do. We'd like to invite students along to see about their roles within when they're just starting their journey on an allied health professional pathway. We'd also like to encourage people to come in and promote things that they're doing in their clinical environment.
Yeah, so anything where everyone wants to talk or have a chat or even discussion or even a debate. We know podcasts reach many people and you can listen to it on your way into work or in the car. So it's a good opportunity for us to hear what you've got to say, really.
Yeah, because we do want to make sure that we can celebrate each of the individual professions that come under that umbrella of allied health professional.
Do you want me to rattle them off for you, Jen?
Do you know what? Yeah, I think that because we obviously know who they are, but yeah, people out there might not know. So yeah, go for it.
It's okay, so I can't get this wrong because I'm obviously the Allied Health Professional Workforce Lead. So here we go. We have art therapists, music therapists, drama therapists, diagnostic radiographers, dietitians, occupational therapists, osteopaths, operating department practitioners, orthoptists, paramedics, podiatrists, physiotherapists, prosthetists and orthotists, speech and language therapists, and therapeutic radiographers. A few.
Well done. I'm glad you did that because I've got to be honest with you. Some of them are a bit of a tongue twister and I don't always get them right.
It took a little learning, but we got there.
So one of the things that we do for allied health professionals is we celebrate Allied Health Professional Day every year, don't we?
Yeah, it's been going now nationally for 7 years, AHP Day, which is recognised on the 14th of October. But at South Tees this year, we're going to be celebrating it on the 16th of October with a fun-filled event in the David Kenwood Lecture Theatre, which is bookable using the link on the comms briefing that comes out on a Tuesday or you may have had an email pop into your inbox by myself. If not, then you can email Alison, which is alison.kerr13@nhs.net.
We'd like to see you there, but like you say, we are limited to places on the morning. However, on the afternoon, we're going to do an award ceremony, and that's open to everybody to join us for that, aren't they? So after the morning events, we're going to be doing looking at our nominees for our awards, and I know you've already started to get a lot through, haven't you?
Yeah, how many do you think we've had?
Well, I'm trying to think how many we had last time we did it, and I think we had about 70 last time, so about the same.
So this year we've got about 120 nominations for allied health professionals, and we closed it within 3 weeks, and that was a fantastic response, and it's a real privilege to do the role that I do, to organise a day like Allied Health Professional Day, but also look through all those nominations, because it's really heartwarming what people have got to say about their colleagues.
Do you know what? I love the fact that we want to celebrate each other's successes, and I'm really looking forward to seeing who the winners are, but I do not envy the panel who has to pick from them 120 nominees.
At the end of the day, everyone's a winner.
Absolutely. What else are we doing for Allied Health Professional Day?
So as allied health professionals, some of us like a little bit of a competition and like to get a little bit active and move it. So we've got a Strava competition, which is an app that you download and you clock your activities. Yeah, the whole point of doing an active AHP active is just to get people moving, so it doesn't matter whether you are active all the time or you're just wanting to get back into it. It's more about just any little changes, any moving forward you can do. So we're going to have 2 winners. We're going to have someone who moves the most active, and we have a few people who cycle into work, so they're already streets ahead. But also for those who are maybe a bit more creative with their activities, and we encourage photographs and stories. But word of warning, please be careful when you're doing your activities.
Yeah, because Alison is renowned for being able to fall over literally a matchstick. So what's your latest boo-boo?
So my latest incident was walking down Rosebery Topping. Nobody pushed me, and ended up with a bit of a graze on my knee. So I'm very familiar with visiting several of our allied health professionals who work at South Tees. I think I just need to be wrapped in bubble wrap, to be honest.
Yeah. So yeah, join in the Strava competition, but please be careful. So we hope we could see some of you at our Allied Health Professional Day celebrations, because that would be absolutely fantastic. But more so, what we'd like is for some of you to come and join us on the podcast.
Yeah, it'd be fantastic to have guest speakers on our podcast, so you don't need to listen to me and Jen all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you've got anything that you want to come and talk about, whether you have a passion for your profession and you really want to tell people about what it is that you do, and this can be listened to by not only staff across the trust, but hopefully across schools, to try and promote each of your individual professions, or whether you're doing something in particular, like an event or something within your clinical area that you want to come and talk about. We'd like to hear about it.
Yeah. So the next podcast, we're going to drop one a month. So the next one, we have travelled to Redcar, and we are going to speak to a speech and language therapist and a occupational therapist that work in the stroke team over at Redcar.
Yeah, and that's because next month is Stroke Awareness Month. So we're going to talk to our community therapies team to talk about what they do for our stroke patients out in the community. I'm really looking forward to that one.
Be fantastic.
So thank you to listening to our first podcast. We hope you enjoyed it, and you'll join us in the future.
It's been fun, Jen.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we got it in one take.
Not quite one take. Took us a few little giggles. It took us a few little recordings. But we got there in the end, so thank you.
Absolutely. Look after yourselves.
And each other.